After the age of 40, many people start noticing something strange about their body. It's not just weight gain. It's not only lower energy. It's not even simply aging. What many people begin experiencing is a slow and silent change in how their body handles stress. Things that once felt easy suddenly feel exhausting. A noisy environment becomes overwhelming. Small problems feel mentally heavier. Even a normal day can leave you feeling drained. Most people assume this is just part of getting older, but what is really happening is much deeper. Your nervous system is changing. Your stress response becomes more sensitive after 40, and your body becomes less efficient at calming itself down. When you are younger, your nervous system can shift between stress and relaxation very quickly. But as you age, that flexibility gradually decreases. This means stress hormones stay in your body longer than they should. One of the main hormones responsible for this is cortisol. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, and while it is essential for survival, too much cortisol over long periods can quietly damage many systems in the body. After 40, the body becomes more vulnerable to cortisol imbalance. This can show up in many subtle ways. You might notice you wake up feeling tired even after sleeping for several hours. You might feel mentally overwhelmed by things that once felt manageable. You might experience brain fog in the afternoon, difficulty concentrating, or sudden drop in motivation. Sometimes people notice they feel physically tense for no clear reason. The shoulders stay tight, the jaw clenches, and the body never fully relaxes. Over time, this constant low-level tension begins to affect digestion, sleep quality, and even heart health. What many people do not realize is that this shift often begins in the nervous system long before any major health symptoms appear. The nervous system controls how your body reacts to the world around you. It decides whether your body stays calm or enters stress mode. After 40, the balance between these two states becomes easier to disrupt. That is why many people start feeling overstimulated by things that never bothered them before. Loud environments, crowded places, constant notifications, and endless information can overload the brain more easily. This is not weakness. It is biology. The nervous system simply becomes less tolerant of constant stimulation. The modern world, however, does not slow down. In fact, it becomes louder and faster every year. This mismatch between the aging nervous system and a hyperstimulating environment creates chronic stress for many people over 40. And chronic stress slowly drains the body's energy reserves. The result is a feeling many people describe as being tired all the time. But the problem is not always physical fatigue. Often it is nervous system fatigue. The brain becomes overloaded. Recovery takes longer. Emotional resilience decreases. Even positive activities can feel exhausting because the body struggles to shift back into a calm state. The good news is that this process is not permanent damage. The nervous system is incredibly adaptable. Even after 40, the brain can relearn how to regulate stress more efficiently, but it requires intentional habits. Small daily behaviors that send signals of safety and calm back to the nervous system. One of the most powerful habits is something surprisingly simple: controlled breathing. Most people breathe shallowly throughout the day without realizing it. Shallow breathing signals stress to the brain. Slow, deep breathing does the opposite. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxation and recovery. Just a few minutes of slow breathing can begin lowering cortisol levels and calming the brain. Another habit that helps regulate the nervous system is reducing constant sensory input. Many people spend hours switching between screens, notifications, conversations, and background noise. The brain never gets a chance to rest. Creating small pockets of quiet during the day can dramatically improve nervous system recovery. Even 5 minutes of silence without a phone or screen can help reset mental overload. Movement is another powerful regulator of stress. Gentle physical activity, such as walking, sends signals to the brain that the body is safe and in control. This helps clear excess stress hormones from the bloodstream. Walking outdoors is especially beneficial because natural environments calm the nervous system even more effectively than indoor exercise. Sunlight, fresh air, and natural scenery all help restore the brain's balance between stress and relaxation. Many people underestimate the importance of these small habits. They search for complicated solutions while ignoring the simple behaviors that the nervous system actually needs. The truth is that after 40, health is less about pushing harder and more about recovering smarter. The body becomes less tolerant of constant pressure, but becomes very responsive to consistent recovery signals. When you begin supporting your nervous system instead of overwhelming it, something remarkable happens. Energy gradually returns. Sleep improves. Focus becomes clearer. Emotional resilience increases. The body starts functioning the way it was designed to function. Calm becomes a default state again, rather than stress. Once you understand how the nervous system changes after 40, another important realization begins to appear. Many of the health problems people experience during midlife are not caused by a single disease. Instead, they are often a result of chronic nervous system overload. When the brain remains in stress mode for long periods of time, it quietly affects almost every system in the body. Digestion slows down. Blood sugar becomes unstable. Inflammation increases. Sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented. The immune system becomes less efficient. These changes rarely happen overnight. They develop slowly, sometimes over many years. That is why many people reach their mid-40s or early 50s and suddenly feel like their body is no longer working the way it used to. In reality, the process began long before those symptoms appeared. The nervous system had been under constant pressure for years. One of the most important steps in protecting long-term health after 40 is learning how to interrupt this cycle of constant stimulation. Modern life constantly pushes the brain towards stress mode. Emails, social media, news alerts, traffic, work deadlines, and financial worries all compete for attention. Each one activates the brain's threat detection system. When this happens occasionally, the body handles it well. But when it happens all day, every day, the nervous system never fully resets. Over time, the brain begins to assume that stress is the normal state of life. This is when fatigue, irritability, and mental exhaustion begin appearing more frequently. Many people try to solve this problem with more caffeine, more productivity strategies, or more willpower. But the real solution is often the opposite. The nervous system does not need more stimulation. It needs more signals of safety. One of the most effective ways to provide these signals is through predictable daily rhythms. The human body evolved to function with natural cycles, waking up at similar times each day, eating meals at consistent times, and maintaining regular sleep patterns all help stabilize the nervous system. When the brain can predict what is coming next, it relaxes. Uncertainty, on the other hand, forces the brain to stay alert. Another powerful tool for calming the nervous system is physical touch. Simple actions like stretching, massage, or even placing a hand on the chest while breathing slowly can activate calming pathways in the brain. These signals tell the nervous system that the environment is safe. Over time, these small signals accumulate and begin shifting the brain back toward balance. Social connection also plays an important role. Humans are biologically wired for connection. Positive interactions with other people help regulate stress hormones and support emotional stability. Even short conversations, shared laughter, or supportive relationships can strengthen the nervous system's ability to handle challenges. Many people underestimate how important these interactions are for overall health. In contrast, chronic isolation can increase stress responses and accelerate mental fatigue. Another overlooked factor is mental recovery time. Many people fill every moment of the day with stimulation. Podcasts while walking, videos while eating, music while working, and scrolling before sleep. While these activities may feel relaxing, they still require the brain to process information. True mental recovery often requires moments of complete stillness, time when the brain is not trying to learn, analyze, or react to anything. These quiet moments allow the nervous system to reset itself naturally. Over time, these habits create a powerful protective effect for long-term health. Instead of constantly draining the nervous system, they help recharge it. The body begins spending more time in recovery mode rather than stress mode. This shift may seem subtle at first, but its impact grows over time. Energy becomes more stable throughout the day. Sleep becomes deeper and more restorative. Emotional reactions become calmer and more balanced. Even physical health markers, such as blood pressure and inflammation, can improve when the nervous system is properly regulated. Many people believe aging inevitably means declining energy and increasing stress, but that is not entirely true. What often declines is not the body's potential for health, but the habits that support nervous system balance. When those habits are restored, the body can function remarkably well even after 40, 50, or beyond. The key is understanding that health after midlife is not only about diet or exercise. It is also about protecting the nervous system from constant overload. When the brain feels safe, the body functions better. Recovery improves. Energy returns. And aging begins to look very different from what most people expect. Instead of feeling constantly exhausted, the body can move through life with calm strength and resilience. And sometimes the most powerful health strategy is not doing more, but simply allowing the nervous system to slow down and breathe again.